Hello, this is Jim for the Monopoly Project. We're on the Monopoly Project yacht here to do our floating book reviews for the month of June. And of course, every successful real estate investor has a yacht, and this is the Monopoly Project yacht. Unfortunately, it's the Bikini Girls' day off, so you just have me. We're on, it's July 5th, right after the 4th. It's about 6 p.m. and it's pretty hot here still in Phoenix. So anyway, we're here to review 4 books. I only have 2 of the books in hand because the other ones got swept up when we had our bottom floor completely redone, so we had to move everything out and put it back, and so we moved them out. So we have 4 books, and so what do we have? We have number 1, The Plot, which is a novel about writing a novel, How the World Became Rich, and Flatland, and finally our 4th book is Sealed Orders, another of the Alaric Bond fighting sales series. Okay, it's Jim again. We're back with the 3rd book in this June floating book review for the Monopoly Project, and you can see this one I actually have in hand, and I'll put it here and smile so it makes a good screenshot for the beginning. And this is Flatland by Edwin Abbott, and it's 96 pages, paperback. This is a reprint in 1992 of a book which I think was originally written in 1884. So I'll read the description from the website. This is a masterpiece of science and mathematical fiction, is delightfully unique and highly entertaining satire that has charmed readers for more than 100 years. The work of an English clergyman, educator, and Shakespearean scholar, Edwin Abbott. It describes the journey of A Square, a mathematician and resident of the two-dimensional Flatland. And where I got this book was at church, at Christ Greenfield Church. We had a seminar given by Trey Cox, who's a professor of mathematics, on you're probably hard seeing to me because the sun's right behind me now, and it's pretty bright. So you're just going to have to listen, just like the characters. A Square character in the book doesn't see the sphere because he's outside of his plane, so he just hears the voice. So you're just hearing the voice because the sun's blinding you. In any case, we took this hour and a half, and Trey's purpose in doing this seminar was, a lot of times we talk about ghosts or angels visiting people and voices out of nowhere, and this was basically a argument that if there's a 4th dimension and these spiritual beings exist in this 4th dimension, they can appear and disappear at will. And of course, in this book, that's the central mathematical thing is A Square. I think his first name is Arthur, just like maybe the author. But anyway, A Square is a square who lives in Flatland in a 2-dimensional plane, and he describes his social structure, and all of the males are polygons, regular figures with 3, 4, 5, 6 and more sides, whereas all of the females are lines. And so, of course, he is visited by a creature from the 3rd dimension, from our dimension, a sphere, and he finds out, that he's not just living alone in this flat plane, that there's a 3rd dimension above it. And I really like the book. I hadn't read the book before the seminar, but I did read the book on the plane. We went to Cancun, Mexico, because my oldest daughter was getting engaged, and we were surprising her by being there, which we did, and it was a great time. So anyway, I took the time to read this book and the next one on the plane, and now I'm coming into the sun and being blinded. So anyway, I really enjoyed the book. I read, it's only 84 pages, but the first half of the book and the last few pages are actually, like I said in the introduction, it's satire about the English culture and, the various rankings of nobility and tradesmen and, lawyers and soldiers and all that. And it's really well done. And he obviously thought this out, both from that level, but also the mathematical level, where he talks about the various shapes and shapes and how they work. So I really like that part even more than the mathematics, although the mathematics was good, and it does introduce that concept of, you know, how can angels appear to Mary or Joseph, or how can they just appear out of nowhere, voices, disconnected voices. It obviously, if you're living in if you have access to the fourth dimension, it's very easy to pop in and out. And of course, it's interesting in the book that initially the square visits a point world where there's only one point and one person, and then he visits a line world where there's a king, and that's where he finally gets the idea that, hey, maybe there's something above me. If, you know, if there's a one-dimensional world and a two-dimensional world, and, you know, why isn't there a three-dimensional world? And so the sphere finds him and tells him that, and then he starts postulating a fourth-dimensional world, and of course the sphere immediately shuts him down and said, well, that's ridiculous. There is no other direction. So it's kind of funny, and like I said, it definitely is a really good book. It's a very pointed satire. That's kind of a joke, because the soldiers are acute triangles, which means they're very pointy, and they're the ones who pierce people to kill them. That's how the soldiers work. And the more sides you have, the higher your social status. So, you know, a three-sided triangle is very low. A square is a little higher, and a pentagon is higher than that, 5 sides. But eventually the high priest is almost a circle. He's like 600, a figure with like 600 sides. And if you do good, each of your subsequent progeny gets one more side, so eventually everybody can aspire to raise themselves socially. So, but in any case, I definitely, like I said, it's only 96 pages, paperback, by Edwin Abbott. So it's very interesting, and it's kind of funny. Unfortunately, I'm not well versed enough in English culture in those times, in the Victorian era, to get some of the more subtle satire, but the one I got was good, so I definitely recommend it. So anyway, this is Jim from the Monopoly Project. That's our third book for June, and now we'll go on to number 4. I just want to see if you guys could see the sunset there and the geese going by. They're swimming home. All the geese have grown up, and now they're all grown up. Earlier in some of our book reviews, we had showed you the baby geese and the baby ducks, which was real cute. In any case, you can see there the sunset over Val Vista Lakes, and we will catch you on the next floating book review.